Hey everyone, this is Miss 1776 here with my good friend Rosales, and we're gonna do and this is the Deja Vu. And I wish I could pull up that thing. I don't know why I don't have it already on the button. My bad.
Greetings, my friend. We are all interested in the future, for that is where you and I are going to spend the rest of our lives. And remember, my friend, future events such as these will affect you in the future.
I swear that is like the best intro. You like totally outdid yourself on that intro.
Yeah, I actually forgot how exciting that was.
I know it always gets me like pumped and ready to start. Let's see. I love how there's always 20 minutes in the 1776 trying to figure out how to work stuff and how to work stuff as the intro. Yeah, I know. I'm technologically what would you say, disadvantaged, disabled, however you want to phrase that. Okay, so
Well,
tonight.
I'd never say that while you're listening.
Okay, so tonight's episodes to serve man and Uncle Simon. Ooh, all right. So let's start with the recap. So just so everybody knows that there are always spoilers on these shows because I have no idea how not to do a spoiler. So let's start from, let me just make sure I have the characters' names right so I don't screw that up again. Okay, so to serve man. So basically it starts with our main character. He's no, Chambers, in a spaceship, and he's there bored, and it's like a really flashback episode. It's a very flashback episode. So it flashes back to a day that's like normal on Earth, and everyone's just going about their business, and of course they see a spaceship, and you know how do I say this? Well, so sorry, they see like this spaceship, and then they get like together the world's leaders, and of course they're all suspicious on whether or not these aliens are going to be hostile or not hostile. And so they meet with the one of the, I don't want to say leader, but basically representative, and he lets them know that they are the Canamites. uh, Hey Michael, how you doing? They're like there to help the world, um uh like stop like to help with eradicating world hunger, as well as like peace, like have peace, so that way there's like create peace. And so like I said, the world's leaders are all skeptical at first, and they hey MSK, how you doing, MSK? Great to see you here. So of
Hey, what
course,
up, loser?
so I know I'm watching this, and this I do not do summaries well, guys. I'm just gonna let you guys know. Um yes, Michael, we're doing to serve man. And so anyway, so they show how like they have like some basically some chemical compound to put in the ground to show that it can make it really nutritious and everything, and everything.
Yes,
But
it's a commonly available nitrate that, once introduced into infertile soil, will make it very, very fertile soil that will add vitamins and minerals to anything that is grown there. So that's what they do there, and they introduce basically force fields that are given to all of the countries that make it impossible for them to be attacked by any other country. thereby eliminating any need for any kind of wars or weaponry because nothing will get through. So they do these things, and while doing that, they accidentally leave one of their own Kennemite books behind that the people in the government are really curious as to what it says. So they go to making some people, our main character specifically, try to decipher that. I'm sorry,
Right.
back to you.
No, I'm glad you did that because I was like, how am I going to circle back to the book? Um, so yeah, so basically it shows that the that the force fields and everything has been working, and so then some of the people started going back to the Canamit world. Like they're like decide to go leave Earth to go visit that planet. And so as they're leaving, it turns out like there's this like long wait list to get onto the planet. So the decoders, Chambers, and then I believe his assistant, or I don't know if they gave her a name, but he had an assistant who was really preoccupied with trying to decode the book. Um, she's still working on that book during this time while they're both waiting to get onto this other to get onto their for their turn. Well, it comes a day where it's time for Chambers to get on to the spaceship to go and visit the other planet, and she decodes the book, and it's a cookbook, you know. And so then, of course, the Kenemites grab him, toss him on the spaceship, and then they go off into space, and then it's basically, the world's doomed because what they were doing was for every person that was leaving, every human that was leaving to go visit the planet, and put that in quotes, they were sending more Kenemites or more of their people there because they were all stationed around the world. And like Rosales had pointed out, they, the world had just disbanded their army and everything else. So it's like they're defenseless, just waiting to get basically eaten now at this point. So that's how that one wraps up. And the cautionary tale in that one being, if it's too good to be true, it is. So, Rosales, you want to add anything that I might have skipped in the recap?
Well, the first thing happened was the woman deciphered the name of the book, which was "To Serve Man," which is also the name of the episode, and she was the one who finally figured it out at the end. So, when all the men had given up, it was the woman who wound up coming to the rescue for all the good that they did. It did anyway. So, but it's kind of interesting that the Kennemites are working along the same way as the mass production of animals works today. The idea is that you keep your food well fed and keep them happy. So that's what they did with the humans was they kept us fed and they made us happy and docile. And for every one of the Kennemites that came to Earth, 1,000 humans went to their planet. And I think the final tally of spaceship trips was I think it was like 900 and something was the one that the professor was on.
Right.
So they've already got a whole lot of people.
And the other thing that came out that they had done this to other planets as well, because earlier on they established that, oh, we had done this for other planets, or we've helped other planets. So I mean, these are kind of uh, I mean, when you think about it too, I mean, you think that they would have been able to farm the people better, I guess. But I guess, yeah, once the people figured out what was going on, they just ate everybody rather than, continuing to allow, like a farm, I guess. Sorry, that's just like a
Yeah.
side.
Well,
Uh,
you got to wonder how many people are actually going to believe a screaming, ranting woman because there's always protesters,
I
for whatever's going on.
That's true. I
You
mean, because I mean, throughout the thing, she does seem kind of skeptical, and Chamber and some of the other people in the military were skeptical as well. But Chambers, kind of the main decoder, kind of kept writing everything off as, "Oh, you're just going to be out of a job. You don't want to be out of a job," and uh, just wanting to kind of accept, accept. Oh, well, it's just this gift without really thinking things of, well, why would it just random why would random aliens want to just come and like, do all these nice things, you know? Yes, all the men did dismiss the woman until obviously the end when she's letting them know it's a cookbook. Um, but yeah, I mean, one of the things that we could kind of almost apply this to today, which was kind of pointed out to me, so I'm not going to really take credit for this one, but I thought it was an interesting point, was that, you think about the checks that we were all getting in the mail, I mean, and now we're looking at inflation, and we're looking at, our economy. It's like this, if it sounds too good to be true, then it probably is. Well, I mean,
Or
you
the
give out.
injection everybody was offered.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you're giving all this. I'm going to put this in quotes because things are never free, guys. But oh, you're getting a free injection. You're getting a free injection. You're getting, you know, a free stimulus check. And obviously now look at it. I mean, like, look how expensive everything is. I mean, nothing's free, guys. And especially the injection thing that just kind of got fast passed. And when you look into some of that kind of stuff. Um, but yeah, anything you want to relate it to today on some of the stuff that we've seen?
Well, I think in early on in the episode he said, I think we're looking a gift horse in the mouth, and not exactly too sure how to take that or how they meant it to for us to take it, but it's definitely a cautionary tale about accepting gifts from strangers.
Hmm. I mean, I was going to make a joke about, probably other countries feel that way about accepting our help sometimes. You probably don't want to accept America's help because there's going to be some strings attached there,
Oh yeah, yeah.
you know.
Kind of like back when Joe Biden was vice president. Ukraine thought they were going to get $2 billion. Joe Biden had a string that he attached to it. They had to fire somebody. That's his story, not mine. So
Yeah. Oh God, there's some China things too in here. Let's see. But yeah, guys. I mean, I mean, just be, cautious. I mean,
they did have one guy who was the alien. The guy who played the alien, his name is Ted Cassidy, and he was, if you watch James Bond, he was the bad guy named Jaws, and himself, he was over 7 feet tall, like today's modern basketball player, and he wore platform shoes and bigger shoulder pads and a prosthetic head that made him larger, and so he stood well over 9 feet tall in the episode. Very, very imposing. This guy was, but a real gentle giant, from what I hear. Very nice man. Did I say Ted Cassidy? That's wrong. Ted Cassidy, I believe, is Lurch. So I got the name wrong. Hang on one second. I'm going to pull it right back up. Uh, Continue on as I search.
yeah, I want to say. I mean, don't quote me on this, guys, but I want to say this is like the only episode where the intro is done by someone other than Rod Serling, because what was it, Chambers, the main character, does the intro to this episode.
Yeah, yeah. I think Richard Keel. That's who it was. Richard Keel. He was the main alien and played. Yeah, they did some screen trickery to put him in multiple places. So even the aliens, since they're strange to us, they all look alike.
Yeah.
Most aliens do.
And I was trying to think. I mean, there's other stuff. I mean, you know what? See, no, I can't imply that there. I was going to say something, but I can't. All right. So, anything else that we want to add to that one? I know that was kind of ended up being shorter than.
Richard Keel was in the Hulk television pilot back in the 70s. They even kept a little snippet of him in there. They liked him because he was so tall, but he wasn't bulky enough ultimately, and they went with Lou Ferrigno and finished out the pilot episode. But there's still a couple of scenes in there where you can tell it's Ted, not Ted. I did it again. Richard Keel. That's just a little trivia.
Yeah. So I'm thinking of maybe we'll move on to the Uncle Simon one.
Okay.
Yeah, if you're ready. Okay. So the other one is okay. So then the other second one for this one is the Uncle Simon or Uncle Simon. So this one's kind of like, well, I know this is like my sister's favorite one. So on this one, it's like, gosh, I gotta look up her name real quick. I can't remember what the woman's name is real quick. Uh, Barbara. Duh. Okay, so Barbara, who's like the niece and kind of the caretaker of her uncle. So it kind of opens up with her trying to find her uncle and in this big old mansion. She's trying to bring him his hot chocolate, and of course, when she finally finds him, he berates her and yells at her and insults her basically like that she's not enough of a woman. She doesn't look like a woman. Uh, she has no life. Just totally just dogs on her. And then trying to encourage her to like basically fight him back and smart up back. So which they eventually do. They start doing their tit for tat sparring. But it comes out that basically she's been his caretaker for like 25 years, and that she just basically can't wait till. Oh yeah, Michael, you totally got to watch Uncle Simon. It's really good. Uh, totally like. Sorry, I'm not good. Hold on a second. Rosales, do you mind picking up real quick? I just got to grab a drink real quick. I'm getting dry mouth.
Yeah, Uncle Simon, he takes a joy in making Barbara's life miserable and nitpicks at everything that she does, even though she does things for him. Ultimately, they come to the question of why she sticks around. And it turns out she's waiting for the moment that Uncle Simon passes away and she can basically dance on his grave. So she's a hateful woman herself who will eventually take her joy in making his afterlife miserable, if you will. She knows she's going to get the inheritance of the house and whatever monies he has stashed away. But until then, she's got to cook and clean and close the drapes and be at his beck and call since he's slightly invalid, walks with a cane, can't get around too well, and is home ridden. And he himself, being an inventor, keeps her from the laboratory from his special project that he happens to be working on, of which she knows nothing about. So they take barbs at each other, and they live in constant misery from their experiences with each other. So that's the setup of where they are in the house.
Okay, so yeah, so then later on, so the uncle's an inventor too, like so he's always in his lab creating stuff, and of course she's always curious, wants to know what he's doing. And so finally, things kind of almost come to like a head uh, where she's asked, she tries to sneak downstairs, and he catches her trying to sneak downstairs. So again, they kind of get into it a little bit verbally, and he takes his cane kind of almost to kind of hit her, and at least she grabs the cane from him, and he falls down the stairs and he ends up dying, asking for her help. As the fall's broken his back, but of course she's just like relishing in his death and letting him know, like, oh, I hope you like, just make sure that you live long enough to hear me say, like, basically, I won. Basically, I'm gonna, I'm free of you, but she said, I'm now gonna reap, and I'm done sowing, and now I'm gonna reap. So next thing is they're at they're at the attorney doing the whole will and everything's willed to her except for like or but it's required that she has to take care of an invention. So she's like unsure what invention it is, and so she goes back downstairs. Because she thinks it's the invention that was downstairs that the uncle was working on. And they open a door and it activates a robot in there, and the robot comes to life. So it turns out that she has to like take care of this robot, um, and in order to keep the house and the money and all that. So as like, as the time goes by, you kind of see the robots like in its infancy, and then kind of starts to gradually gets like the personality that the uncle had programmed into it. And then, you find out that the uncle programmed basically his personality into it. So she ends up having to spend the rest of her life. She ends up having to spend the rest of her life again, still working for her uncle, and by bringing the uncle the hot chocolate, and dealing with being berated and having to shut the drapes. She wasn't allowed to open the drapes and have the window and all that. So that's kind of how it ends. Did I miss anything on that recap?
No, no, no. You did just fine.
Okay, okay. So this is kind of like a really more tricky one for me, because I feel like Uncle Simon and Barbara are both such unlikable people. Her for like the whole reason that she's helped the uncle in the first place was just that she could get his money, and him because he's just like mean and just like verbally just vicious towards her. And so it's like both of them kind of get their comeuppance in the sense that the uncle's dead. So I mean, so in his thing, okay, the uncle is dead. I know that there's some like confusion on whether the uncle put his self into the machine, because I have seen a couple reviews on it where that, but I think Rod Sterling kind of clears it up when he makes it very clear that the uncle's life had expired in his monologue, that was the uncle's thing, that he's no longer around, whereas and now Barbara is like being tortured by a machine. So um I would say that, so that's for the uncle. And then like obviously she has to now deal with this machine that's never going to die. The machine's going to outlive her, so now she doesn't get to enjoy what she thought would have been the fruits of her labor. And it is kind of interesting, because had she actually gone to the uncle and cared for the uncle, and loved her uncle from the beginning, or at least wanted to do something out of just familial like ties, loyalty, something like that, had she, or just compassion, then obviously the uncle would not have uh tortured her so much. I mean, who knows, he could have still been mean and ornery, but he definitely wouldn't have like uh been like so wanting to make sure she suffered for at least the rest of her life, like to kind of get back at her for just carrying out him for the money. So I'd say they're both very unlikable characters, but I would say for me that the moral I'm getting out of this one a little bit is that you know I feel like she kind of took the easy route a little bit, or she tried to take the easy route, rather than uh and was greedy, saw greed and lust, and wanted that. And let me say, lust does not always mean in a sexual way. I know some people get that a little confused, but I mean, like, wanted that like life and that lavish life. So went and did like an easy route, and again, and hoping that he would die, like hoping he would die each night because he was sick. Going, oh man, I hope he kicks the bucket soon. So I think, we shouldn't be trying to do like take shortcuts in life. You know, we should be going the long route, and trying to create our own success rather than trying to take some CD shortcuts. So there's also, I'm sure you might have gotten a different uh, moral out of that story. So what was your moral? What,
Well,
what did you see?
I thought it played really well with "To Serve Man." I think both have the same sort of moral to it. With uh, don't what was that? It was don't don't look for the easy way, or don't look a gift horse in the mouth, that kind of thing, because she's looking for the easy way, like you said. She's looking for that, and I don't think that Uncle Simon always expected that of her. She's always felt that same way. The way she felt. It's been clear for her exactly how she felt about Uncle Simon the entire time, but I don't think it's exactly that clear with Uncle Simon because the addendum that he put into his will was very last minute, and the lawyer reflected that. So his tinkering in the in the laboratory for hours on end wound up being his source of revenge. Karma's coming for both of them, in one form or fashion. So they're reaping what they sow, both of them, because when he takes a swing at her, he falls. So that's his reward karmically, if you will, for his uh, hubris. I don't know if that's the right word. Then again, right afterwards, she winds up going up to the window and yelling, "Hey, world, I'm back." She springs open these windows, throws back the curtains because that's the way she wanted it to be the entire time. And now she's singing out her freedom for the whole world to hear. And it turns out that's just not the case.
Yeah, I mean, and that is pretty like you said that. I mean, just point out like that how she really wanted, like you said, she really wanted to kind of that this whole time because that's pretty dark. You would think that even even with as cruel as they were to each other, you think that seeing at least a relative die like that, you would have some kind of compassion or something, you know. E- Even if they were kind of like, as cruel as he kind of was, I mean, there would be something where you wouldn't just be like, woohoo, I've hit payday, like, acting like she's hit the lottery. I mean, she has essentially, but acting,
Sorry, I had to cough there.
oh, no worries.
But yeah, I think you know, taking something for granted is basically what both stories were about. And she took it for granted that things were going to go one way, and she didn't prepare for things to go the other way. She was not willing. Her mindset was at the point where she was not willing to leave the house and leave everything behind and start fresh and brand new. It was up to her whether or not she stayed, and it was up to her whether or not she lived in the house. It's up to her whether or not she got the money, because she at any point in time she could leave. And so really her misery for the rest of her life, caring for this robot that has the personality of her Uncle Simon, is a misery of her own choosing, just like she chose to live there in misery while he was alive.
Yeah, exactly. And I always thought that was kind of interesting was watching her wardrobe change, like how she kind of went from this really frumpy outfit and everything to, then, obviously even her funeral outfit was nicer than her, like she looked like more dressed up, in a like in a as weird as it sounds, like almost in like a happy way, like more dressed up in a, oh, I'm like, the freeway than she really did when she was like working for the uncle in that
Yeah.
really frumpy looking dress. And then as we see, and I think at the height of what she thought was her freedom, where she's like really kind of dressed to the nines and has her makeup on and her hair done, um to back to where, obviously once she realized that she's stuck with Uncle Simon, she's back in her, that dumpy dress again. So I kind of liked how they use the outfits to kind of show, or show her
And
mood. Hmm?
she wound up back in the frumpy outfits too by the end of the show, I think.
Yeah, yeah, I think she was back in that really ugly dress.
Hmm.
Um,
But again, a lot of this was of her doing too, because she didn't show undying love to Uncle Simon when he was alive, and she surely didn't show it to the robot. She wound up pushing it down the stairs that Uncle Simon fell down and broke its leg, and it almost completed the transformation of the robot into Uncle Simon. The robot was walking around with the cane, and he had Uncle Simon's voice then. and he was asking her, Barbara, bring me some hot chocolate. And if it's not hot enough, I'm going to throw it on the floor. Which is, it doesn't make sense that a robot is going to want hot chocolate. So,
Yeah, it almost makes me wonder too if she had treated the robot nicer, if it would have had a different personality a little bit. You know what I mean?
yeah.
I mean, would have probably still been like the uncle, like it would have probably been like had she been kinder to the uncle, would he have had a softer approach to her? Because I mean, the robot doesn't start off as being mean to her.
Mm-mm. No, but it was still kind of needy. So,
Yes, yeah, it was definitely needy. I would agree. And yeah. So let's see. I would say. I mean, one of the things. I mean, it's a little bit not exactly it, but I do feel like as today, I do feel like we have kind of, at least in the Western world, we've kind of moved away from taking care of our. And I know this is just a side thing. This isn't really have to. I don't think this was really being. This wasn't really exactly pointed out, or I don't know. Maybe it was just somehow kind of applies. But I mean, I think we used to really care for our elderly, and we would care for our elderly, our grandparents, our parents, um, our elderly aunts or elderly uncles. That used to be like a thing where you would, you know, care for a relative. And I feel like in society we have kind of moved from that, unless it's like, oh, well, what can you give me? And I've just seen, because I've seen a lot of that, especially like when you go and back before Reddit decided to kick me off, where I would read and people be doing their advice or talking and complaining, and just like it's like, well, very cruel towards their elderly relatives, and that acting like entitled, and I'm not owed, and all this other I'm not owed this, or just because you gave
there's
me birth.
hardened criminals on Reddit. How did you get kicked off?
I know, right? I don't, because I spoke out against, or I called out that one creepy person in Canada with the big fake plastic boobs, and so apparently they did not like me calling them what they were. So yeah,
Oh.
yeah. Um,
Well, it turns out that big the plastic booby guy, the Z cup dude, is a troll. So he was trolling everybody. He's not really anything other than a dude who wanted to make the Rainbow Coalition look silly.
well, they certainly look stupid for sticking for like s- pretending that was okay.
Yes, yes, he made them look silly as well. That was his point in doing it, was to traumatize children and troll the school board and the government. So
Traumatized me.
I got you kicked off of Reddit, and look at that. I think that was just a bonus.
Yeah, probably. Well, hey, I wouldn't be on Twitter if I didn't get kicked off Reddit, because I was sitting there going, well, now what am I going to do?
I've found it interesting that the robot was Robbie the robot from Forbidden Planet. If anybody's seen Forbidden Planet, Robbie the robot was probably the most expensive prop that was built at the time. I think it was like $2 to $3 million in 1950 something monies, and he was built from scratch by a guy who used to design washing machines, which is why he didn't look like the regular boxed robot that they normally did back in the 50s and 60s. So he looked more machine-esque, like a washing machine. It had a big old barrel chest and moving lights and all kinds of other stuff. And that particular robot, to make sure that they got the most money out of it, they wound up reusing it in different TV shows and different movies since then. So by the time it wound up on the Twilight Zone, and it was on the Twilight Zone about 3 times, it had been in all sorts of television series, from I Spy to the Monkeys and all of these other shows, and eventually it was done there. They replaced the head with a prototype head that was done for the original movie, which is why it fit so well. but it wasn't the head that they used in the films and in other things. So eventually, that particular robot was retired and went into somebody's collection, but not before the guy who bought it had built a replica, an accurate replica of Simon. Excuse me, Robbie the robot. And that one is the one that you can currently see now because it's still making appearances television. So the replica is continuing on where the original left off in film and television and things like that. So I
Hmm,
found that to be an interesting little bit of trivia.
that is interesting. So, did someone have to get inside it to make it move, or how did they? How are
Yes,
they?
yes. Somebody who's roughly about 5'2" has to be inside the robot, and they step into the legs, and then the chest area is sitting on a shoulder harness, and then they put the head on top of that, and he can see through where the neon light visor was. That's what
Mhm.
he can see through. So
Man, that's interesting. I wonder if it was heavy because, like you said, it was like kind of designed by a washing machine guy. I wonder if they were able to make it like light because it seems like a lot to.
I it was probably heavy and probably very hot inside there.
Yeah.
They have a little thing on the inside of it, an actuator that's voice activated. So somebody off screen will talk into a microphone and do the robot voice, and when they talk, the lights will flash, and then in post they will activate the robot voice to match the flashing lights.
Huh. That's really interesting. I mean, I was watching. This is a little bit of a side story, but I was watching Edward Scissorhands the other day, and we were talking about how there's like, you know, it's back before there's like a lot of CGI and a lot of that computer stuff. So I think that's kind of cool. Like when you think about like the practical effects and everything like that he has, and like the costumes and like you were talking about like the robot, like how much went into having to build some of this stuff back then.
Mhm.
Not a dig at people who do the CGI stuff today. It's just I miss like those practical effects.
I used to wonder how much dye they used on Winona Ryder's hair, and then I finally realized that's probably just a wig.
Oh, because what color is her hair? Is her hair black?
She's a blonde in the movie, but
Right.
she's a brunette. And
Mm.
when I first saw that, I was like, man, that's really going to damage her hair. To be bleached out that much, my goodness.
Oh yeah, and then yeah, her eyebrows too. Well, you know what was interesting because like I've said before, my sister's like a makeup artist. So I was just like looking at like, oh, they actually like did her eyebrows too. Like they made them blonde. Because sometimes they forget to do that.
Yes.
That's yeah. Oh, they did a terrible job on Thor. Like I think when the one there's like one of the Thor movies and his like they gave him blonde eyebrows and it looks like really bad.
Yeah, the
Sorry, but
very first Thor movie, they bleached his eyebrows, and afterwards they decided not to do that for the subsequent appearances of Thor. So when he shows up again in Captain America, whatever that was, um, they wound up just leaving his eyebrows intact. So speaking of intact, MSK's virginity still is.
yes, I could see as he's complaining about it in the live chat. Well, I don't. Well, okay, but I don't know where you're thinking you're gonna get it, but you ain't gonna get it from here, buddy. Um, so shoot, there was something else I was gonna say and go along those lines of along the lines of makeup. So anyway, so about the I do have to say back to the to serve man on the makeup that they did there that my sister, being a makeup artist, was talking about how incredible the blending was and everything that the makeup artist did because like a lot of the times you can kind of tell when the makeup's like screw when you watch things in high definition. I mean, a lot of these things weren't
Hmm.
made to be in high definition and just goes to what a perfectionist and everything that Rod Serling was, that how the makeup looks flawless even in today's high definition. uh you know
Yeah, they did a fantastic job with the makeup on him. I really enjoyed the fact that Richard Keel had a blank stare on his face. Also, I, I I don't think it was mentioned anywhere, but the voice of the aliens in To Serve Man was done by Vincent Price.
Oh, I was gonna say, is that Vincent Price? I was wondering if Vincent Price. Okay, that totally sounded like him. Thank you for like finding that, because I was like, okay, I was looking in the credits, like I didn't see anything like that. So
Yeah,
it is Vincent Price. Okay, because it sounded like him. I was
a
like
lot of
excited.
a lot of voiceover actors back then didn't get credit for the work that they did. One of the guys, I don't know if you remember, you don't remember this show. Your father, your grandfather might know this show. It's a show called Cannon, about a heavy set crime fighter, detective type person. You know, when Cannon fights, he fights hard. And he did the intro to the animated Lone Ranger and never took credit for it because he didn't want to distract from either the Lone Ranger or from his television series. But a lot of people, a lot of famous people, did these types of voiceovers and just took the job and didn't want anybody to know that they did it, so they never got credit for it.
Oh, see that's almost like, okay. So, well, did they do that on? I mean, it's not the same, obviously, because we all knew it was, but like they did it to James Earl Jones a little bit on the prequel series when he's Darth Vader at the last. What was it? I can't remember what the third, whatever the third one is in the trilogy. Do you remember it in the prequel trilogy? Is
Return of the Jedi.
that what that one is? I
You're
can't
talking
think
about
of that.
you're talking about actual number three
Yeah.
or the
Oh, prequel number
revised
three.
canon prequel number three.
Oh,
Well, you
prequel
know
number
when he
three.
goes no.
Yeah, when he's like asking where Padme was and stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah. That movie
Yeah,
doesn't count, so it's
I
okay.
know. I'm just saying, like, it's just weird when you have these big actors and big, and they do a voice and you don't give them credit for it, because you think you're leaving like the audience to have to guess if it's them or not. I don't know. That bothers me a little bit.
Well, Mel Blanc was the man of a thousand voices. He did all the cartoon voices in the Warner Brothers cartoons. If it wasn't a female, he did the voice. Okay, so he did Daffy Duck, Bugs Bunny, Tweety, all of these, right? So he's doing these cartoons, and a show comes along called The Flintstones, and they get him to do the dinosaur, the dog, Dino. And so he did that through the entire series. Well, eventually, time flies by and, he grows old and he passes away. And they introduce this new film based on classic properties because the movie Batman gave lots of people a lot of hope about a lot of different properties that just did not work as a live action film. And one of those was the Flintstones. So they hire all these big name actors at the time: Rosie O'Donnell, John Goodman, um, that other guy, right? And everybody in Hollywood was wondering, well, how are they going to do Dino? Who's going to be the voice of Dino? It was a very recognizable voice, you know. So the movie comes out, and it sounds exactly like Dino, and nobody can figure out who it is because there wasn't a credit for Dino. Eventually, the family of Mel Blanc started us, made a big stink about it and saying they're using his voice without giving him any kind of credit or compensation. And now the company, the production company, is in hot water publicly. So what they did to make everything okay was they wound up writing the family a residual check, not actual compensation for being in the movie, just a residual like you would have gotten from an episode of the Flintstones. Talk about
Wow.
harsh.
Yeah, that is harsh. Man, Hollywood is cruel.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I guess we should know Hollywood Patrol with all these allegations and everything that keeps coming out about Hollywood and the casting couch, and then, you know, I can't remember her name. The the woman who's in some what was it? The Wizard of Oz. What is her name?
Oh yeah, Dorothy.
Yes, and all the stuff that they put her through.
Yeah, Liza Minnelli's mother. I'm getting closer.
Okay, I'm glad I'm not the only one who's sitting here going, "What is her name?" It's bugging the heck out of me. And then it's like on one of those things where you don't want to like cheat and look up their name because now you're like at that point where you're like, no, I can't look it up. I have to like, I know it. It's at the tip of my tongue.
Maybe we'll ask everybody in the comments if you know who played Dorothy in the original Wizard of Oz. Put it in the comments below, and you'll win a very special surprise.
Um,
We're
yeah,
all
you know,
ears.
it was always I was really interested about like how why Vincent Price wasn't in the Twilight Zone more because I mean I know that Vincent Price is more like classic horror and everything, but like I always felt like Twilight Zone just kind of borders a little bit of some of that horror stuff.
Yeah, it was real good with the horror and science fiction, and they never went too far. Judy Garland.
Oh, okay,
Judy
there you go.
Garland. They never veered too far into the future. I think Rod Serling said at one time he doesn't want to do 2000. He'd rather do 1998, uh, which back then was still the future, um, because things will be different. They just won't be as different as they are now. They'll just be a little bit different. And from a production standpoint, that makes sense to do something like that. You don't want to spend a whole lot of money on a whole lot of stuff. So it was Rick Moranis. Yes, Rick Moranis was Barney. Thank you, Obey
Hey,
Splash.
Patrick, how you
Patrick.
doing?
That's his name,
Oh,
Patrick.
yeah, either or.
You
All right.
learn something new every day. I
Thank you for
might have
stopping
forgot
by.
this already. Yes, thank you for being here.
um, I was also kind of thinking because I mean, what was interesting about I noticed about the Twilight Zone is he kind of spans like before the moon landing and then after the moon landing. So a lot of his like episodes, like before the moon landing, are kind of like really these like crazy abstract, like thinking about it, going, man, they're like sitting there going, this would like if you put yourself in that time frame, like yeah, that would be a terrifying thought about going to the moon and being lonely when they're because I think there's an episode where they're in they're trying to prepare the astronauts to go to the moon and it's like supposedly going to be a 2-week trip, so they're putting them in isolation for like 2 weeks, and so they start freaking out because the guy starts having a freak out because he's in isolation and not able to talk to anybody. And then obviously then we see after, and then it's like, which was like, obviously to serve man when they're talking about, oh yeah, humans are funny because here we are in this little rinky thing going to Earth or whatever, or going to the moon, and we're all excited, but now we're all like excited and ready to go to another planet. So I don't know. I always kind of thought that was a little interesting to see that little span in his
Yeah,
shows.
yeah, he liked the space travel.
Yeah, like space travel, war. Those
But
two are like pretty big.
if taking a look at that, their vision of what would happen when we are contacted by alien life and the interaction, I think it was a complete and utter failure. If you are to believe the government, we've been visited by otherworldly Judy. Yes, otherworldly people now for decades. And have they cured cancer? Have they cured famine? Have they given us ways of defending ourselves from everyone? So there's no point. Um, no, they haven't done jack except for cut up cows and give people anal probes. So as far as I'm concerned, if that's the reality of aliens, I'm kind of disappointed.
Yeah, especially the cow thing. It's like, what did the cow do to you?
Yeah.
Um, oh, I wish I could remember one of it was on Kitty Stream. One of the guys on there was talking about the cows taking our cows. So he was like, "F you," and I just thought that was the funniest thing ever. But I mean, it's like yelling at the aliens, like doing the old man yells at clouds, like old man yells at the aliens over taking our cow.
That's funny.
But yeah,
Leave my
so
cows alone.
exactly. Um, but yeah, so yeah, I think we did pretty good. I mean, we're getting closer to that hour mark. I think I kind of wanted to watch that Soylent movie.
Oh, Soylent Green?
Yeah, I'm
It's
kind of
got a
thinking.
different ending than the book. I'll tell you that right now. If you read the book and you went to watch the movie, you would wonder why they just used the title for this movie. So this is quite a change in what's going on there.
So, I mean, it looks like we're actually getting. I mean, this is just kind of how it goes, where it's like as soon as you kind of get towards wrapping up, suddenly all of a sudden the views start popping up. So, anybody who's watching right now, if you want to, put in, uh, why don't you guys put in? See, we went over both cautionary tales to serve man, Uncle Simon. So, why don't you guys, I don't know, apply some of those cautionary tales to today? What do you guys see going on today? With you know sticking within the themes of to serve man and Uncle Simon. Uh,
Well, you can always take the best and only way to read Uncle Simon is that don't be cruel to relative inventors
yeah, yeah.
because they're cooking something up for later. So you don't want that happening to you.
Take care of your elderly, guys. I mean, I know they're pains in the ass. They can be. They really are. But I mean, I always think of like when we get that age, is that what we want to teach our kids to do? Oh, I don't, because you're mean to me. Because you were like, because it's like, because I don't want to say because you're mean to me. That sounds weird, but it's like that. Oh, you're an ornery old person, so I don't want to visit you. I mean, like, a lot of people become ornery and bitter because they feel lonely. So go give them a call, or you
Yeah,
know,
take care of your elderly. Take them out to eat at the Lubies. Take them to the park so they can see some people playing around. And for God's sakes, don't make them go into office.
the office.
Yeah, into politics.
Oh,
Don't
in the office.
don't
Yes, yes.
don't
Do not let them go into office.
don't make them run for office at all. No.
Yeah, no, you need to be. Oh gosh, that's like a story from. I'm sure we could find a cautionary tale that goes into that one.
35 is the age. Okay, that's a good age to start being presidential right there. If
Yeah.
you're going to vote for anybody, vote for somebody who can pull off 2 terms. How about that?
And remember, guys. I mean, you don't have to be a politician to get into politics. That was not how our system was set up. We were set up to anybody could be a politician, and it should be anybody because it's supposed to be someone who loves this country and you know, wants to serve. Be a public servant. You're not doing it for benefits. You're doing it because you love your country. So,
Yeah.
you know,
And if you're a base life and you're looking for eternal gratitude, date a grandma.
yeah, looking for love in all the wrong places, right there. Well, you know what? No, because what's her name? Lauren Bobber. Or what? I can't pronounce her name. She's a grandma. She's 36. So yeah, Patrick, go for it.
Well, yeah. But she's not baking bread, I'll tell you that.
Oh, that one. Actually, my grandpa was a grandpa at 38. So yeah.
Well, that
Which,
has to do with life choices, not much.
well, actually, in my family, everybody gets married really young except for me. I'm like the only one who did not get married at 18.
Oh, you're the spinster.
I am the spinster. Yeah, I'm the spinster who didn't get married at 18.
Wow, that's a turn. You know what? That puts me in the grandpa age book right there. You know,
Oh, a base. That's exactly what I was thinking of. Get out of my head, 76.
yeah, you'll make her happy if you buy her a new flavor of vape.
Yeah, was an ornery one, wasn't she? Listening to how she was acting up, and then I don't know. There's this new trend where it's
Oh,
like
yeah.
I don't know if you've seen like the new trend where it's like, oh god, it's so stupid. It's like the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. One of the dumbest things, where it's like now women are going, oh, stand with Lauren, and now they're posting pictures of their guy grabbing their boob. I'm going, guys, this is dumb. This is stupid and dumb. What are you guys thinking? That doesn't even help. What you, you guys are making it worse.
Or like OnlyFans women thinking that they can get a relationship after they quit.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm like, come on, guys. That's like, I mean, the things that they could have said, they
Boober.
boob. Oh, I was waiting for someone to say boober. I'm like, oh, I want to make that joke, but it's sophomore, and then someone steals it.
Yeah, a
Stole my
sophomore
joke,
did it.
Patrick. You stole my joke, Patrick. I'm mad. Uh,
Calm down.
so, oh wait, what
Have a
happened?
toke off of your vape.
Well, in 2 years, I'm gonna try to hold off for 2 years. So I just can't believe she's 2 years older than me. For some reason, I thought she was like in her 40s, but that's just me being bad with age. No, yeah, no, she is hot. Well, obviously she's hot. The guy was trying to keep his hands off her in the theater. Um. So besides boobs, what were we talking about?
Vaping.
Vaping. So we covered vaping, boobs.
I got to be truthful. I lost my train of thought. So.
Gilfs. Okay, so we pretty much covered the basics, all that you would need for a cautionary sci-fi tale. Soylent Green is boobies.
They're gonna give it away.
Is it boobies? No, can't do boobs. That'd be a weirdly. I don't believe that for that time frame. I don't believe Soylent Green is boobs.
She hasn't seen the movie, so she doesn't know. So, is that what we're going to cover next week?
Yeah, how about that? Let me see if I'm sure I can find Soylent Green somewhere. Does that sound good? And how long is that movie?
What, a good 2 hours, maybe?
Okay, so what's the? I was going to ask you what the cautionary tale is, so I could pair it with the Twilight Zone episode. Oh wait, you said it's 2 hours?
Yeah.
Okay, so that should be enough for a show, I think, right? Should a movie be enough? You think that's enough discussion, or should I like grab a do like Soylent Green as well as something else, like a short or something?
Not sure. Trying to figure out where to see it.
Oh yeah, I guess we should see if it's like one of those easier.
Yeah, because I'd hate for you to have to pay for it.
Is that bad of a movie that's not worth paying for?
No. It's just.
I'll just get it on my sister's account, and then she'll be like, "Hey, why is there a charge to my account?" I mean, because Rosales told me not to pay for it. Duh. Okay, let's see. Oh, it's $2.99. I wonder if she can afford $2.99.
Or you could buy the DVD for $8.
That's true.
That's on Prime Video.
Ooh, I could Redbox it too. Okay.
Oh, it's currently unavailable on Prime. Okay.
I wonder if someone has it. I bet you someone has it on YouTube.
Oh no, you can rent it. I'm sorry, you can rent it on Prime, or your sister can.
Oh, you can watch it, I think, on YouTube. Oh, wait. TV's only. Well, that's dumb. Oh, okay. Okay, it's been spoiled. I know what it is. I know what it is. Shit, we should have did that for this week.
How'd you get spoiled so quickly?
Because I saw it say Soylent Green is, and then it said what it is. Hey, but I guessed that last week, and you guys. So technically, I guessed it, and I was right when I guessed it. Oh, cool! I found it.
Oh, you know what we should do? We should do They Live.
Ooh, yeah, let's do that one. Okay, let's do They Live instead, since I just spoiled Soylent Green for myself.
Okay. You will love the context of that film. You were going it's going to scream at you and you're going to think to yourself, "My God, how did they do a documentary?"
On They Live or on
Yes,
Soylent on They
they
Live?
live. They live.
Oh,
Yeah.
Soylent Green is spoiled. Yeah, you have to spoil, but that's okay.
Well, it is a food crisis, so there
Ugh,
is that.
that's just nasty.
You can actually buy Soylent Green nowadays on Amazon.
Is it Soylent Green or is it like imitation Soylent Green?
Let's see. I'm trying to look for it on Amazon. It was in like an energy drink kind of thing. So, oh, they sell the crackers. No, no, they don't. I was wrong. But yeah, a company came out with Soylent Green a while back. It may not be available right now, but it was a green drink that was supposedly made out of kelp or some kind of green algae or something like that.
Huh. Yeah, Lefty, sorry, you're a little bit late. I already spoiled it. But thank you for stopping by.
Yes,
Um,
we appreciate it. So yeah, next week we'll be doing They Live. It's a John Carpenter film. Uh, get back to it. Oh, that's Soylent Green.
is it gonna make me go on a rant? Because I'm just gonna give people a heads up if it's gonna make me rant. But hey, this will be a ranting episode.
If it does give, then we'll definitely make it for an hour.
All right, well, it sounds good to me. You don't have to worry about trying to make it. Hey, we did make it to an hour this time, though.
Yeah, it's directed by John Carpenter, and it stars the wrestler Roddy Piper, Keith David, and Meg Foster.
All right, sounds. Oh, jeez,
And
glasses.
it keeps in the theme of rowdy Roddy Piper. That's right.
I love that. And then,
I'm here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
all right, well, I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah,
I think that's gonna be my
yeah.
for my
That should be definitely be the next one you watch. I started watching it a while back the other day, so um, yeah. The description on Amazon is doesn't really give you the whole story, so I'm not going to give you a summary of it. It's one of these things where you should just pop it on and watch it without reading anything about it.
Okay, I'm just gonna warn everybody then. If you haven't seen They Live yet, go ahead and watch it because there will be, of course, spoilers because I will be spoiling. Um, because I do my recap and let's face it, I have no idea how not to spoil it. So it is what it is. So yeah, if you don't want it spoiled, watch it beforehand. So Rosales, anything you want to close out with or any last thoughts?
No, no, I got nothing.
Well, it says Rosales, think about a woke they live. Oh gosh.
Actually, the way it was originally written and intended, it is a woke they live. It was intended to be a reflection of Reaganomics and the way the conservatives were ruining the country. However, nowadays it paints a widely different picture of how things are right now. So it's kind of amusing in that sense. So it's interesting because no, John Carpenter is a staunch liberal and really hated the conservative movement of the '80s and was really trying to indict um, all kinds of conservatives and Republicans. But I love how the movie turned out.
Yeah, that was good. It's not weird, like too, because I think that's like with dinosaurs, the Jim Henson one. And if you look at it like back in the time frame that it was made, you could tell where it would probably been more like something that like a lot of Democrats or liberals or whatever would have really like felt more like agreed with, I guess. But because of how the world has turned out, it's like a lot of this stuff I'm like, yeah, no, I agree with that. Like, so it's just kind of funny how that sometimes switches.
Did you see the series finale for Dinosaurs?
Oh yeah, with the comic and the comet, or not comet. The yeah with yeah them screwing over the ecosystem.
Everybody died.
That's true, but I mean, to be fair, we did know that everybody was going to die.
Well, I mean, if it was based in reality, but they were wearing shirts and had jobs. I wasn't sure that was the actual dinosaurs from the olden days. I'm sorry, the biblical days,
I
depending
do
on who
like
you are.
I do like the scene where it's like the dinosaurs are talking about how they're at the top of the chain, and then they look outside and they see like the cavemen. And they have like a wheel, and they like make a hula hoop out of the wheel, and they get all excited. And it's like, yep, and we're going to be at the top for a very long time. That's my favorite part. That when they keep getting the caveman's like genders confused, like because they don't, because to them the cavemen all look alike. So they like at one point put like two male cavemen together, and they think that one of them's a female, and then they think that that one's like barren. And it just turns out it's just two dudes.
Oh, I was giving you a nice little chuckle by my microphone.
Oh, and I was gonna say, yeah, you probably can't make those jokes nowadays.
It sounded like it died right there on the vine, but no, I just had my microphone muted.
Oh, that's it now. If I'm not muting my own mic and telling my jokes to just myself half the time.
If there's a movie out there that you think would be entertaining listening to us jabber on about, let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love talking to the comment section, even if they misspell our names. It's awesome.
Uh oh, well, you said you're smart, so I think that makes up for it.
Oh, I think it does. So, yeah, everybody who's watching right now, we're looking at the like counter, and we'd love to see a thumbs up from you if you have the chance, opportunity to mosey on over to the lower third of your screen to give us a thumbs up. It helps with the algorithm, I think somebody said one time.
And yeah, if you guys haven't yet subscribed, go ahead and please subscribe, so that way if we hit another 76, we're going to do. Ooh, I think we're going to do the ask. Either we'll do a tier list of all the all the British slang words for I think idiot or stupid, because for some reason they have like a ton of them. So me and Jack will either do a tier list, or we might do an Ask an American, or Ask American, Ask a American, like we did our Ask a Brit. So yeah. So let's try to hit that 176. And oh, here we go. Oh, here's a suggestion from Base. So you guys ever seen the Time Machine? We could do the Time
I've
Machine.
seen several versions of the Time Machine by H.G. Wells. Yeah, that's the original one from the mid '60s, and is a quite astonishing feat for the time period it was done in. All of the practical effects that they used in that, and the introduction for my first introduction to the word Morlock, which was really really groovy. Yeah, it was a good movie. We should probably do that one too.
All right, yeah.
At
Let
some
me
point.
write that. Yeah. Okay. So we got to do the time. We'll do they. Well, we're doing They Live, and then we'll do Time Machine. That's a good suggestion. Write this down so I don't forget. And I hope I can read my handwriting too. That's gonna. Okay. So the original one.
Good deal. We can do that. Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
All
that's a
right.
fun one. And when we run out of ideas, we can always go back to the Twilight Zone. Just recently, I saw the Twilight Zone movie, which I kind of enjoyed. My youngest son started to get into it with me towards the end of the movie. So uh, the one where originally it was William Shatner looking out the window, and seeing the gremlin out there eating at the wing.
That was a movie?
That was in the movie. The
Oh,
movie
okay.
version of the Twilight Zone had all these
Oh,
shorts
Brazil.
inside
Sorry.
of it. Brazil is twisted. Yeah.
Is that like the one that people that I know there's like a movie where like it was so bad the government thought that someone actually unalived someone, I guess, during I can't like one of the governments thought that someone actually unalived someone during the production. They had to show that that was just like movie effects.
I don't know if that happened on Brazil.
Okay.
What's the word you're
How
trying to avoid? Is it murder?
Oh, good. I can use murder. Okay. How about the original Night of the Living Dead? Okay. Original Night of the Living Dead.
Ooh, classic movie. George Romero. He was the one who did this in this particular movie, uh, Night of the Living Dead, the original one. Uh, First introduced the idea of zombies eating flesh. Up until that point, zombies were voodoo creatures that were manipulated by witch doctors. That basically they just did the will of the person who was in charge. So they used them as slave labor, both in fiction and in film and in print. So wow, I just noticed that big L in the comments. So Faces of Death. Oh no. That's not something you want to see. But yeah, the original one, that's where all of your zombie tropes comes from. The slow walking, the shambling, the eating of the flesh, the shooting in the head. All of this stuff comes from George Romero. He was the inventor of all of that stuff. What's a 1984 type movie?
Sorry, I said sorry. If it's a 1984 type movie, that sounds good, Lefty Lucy. Oh, the Brazil movie.
Oh yes, dystopian future,
Oh yeah, that's great then. That
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 type
I'll
of
put
thing.
that sounds good. It's gonna get a star. Um, thank you. That's what I was thinking of. The Cannibal
Cannibal
Holocaust.
Holocaust. You want to
Oh
watch Cannibal Holocaust?
no, no, I do not want to watch
Want to do that
Cannibal
for
Holocaust.
Halloween? That'll be the Halloween
No,
show.
no, thank you. I want to be
No, they
vomiting.
didn't. They didn't have real life murder in Animal Holocaust, but what they did have was real life animal torture and mutilation. They used that to shock the people into believing everything was real that was on the film, and that's why so many people believed that the deaths in the movie were real. So,
Let's see. Since Halloween is around the corner, are there any horror classics you both haven't seen?
no, I've seen them all.
Yeah, I'm not really a horror person. I mean, I'm more of like a Twilight Zone kind of person where it's like that eerie.
Mhm.
So I would say I don't. I would have to let Rosales be like the one who picks on those because he would probably be better at picking something that stays within the theme of like a creepy cautionary tale. Oh, except for those. What are those weird things with the little dead puppet thingy? The Kroll. What's a Kroll? What about Kroll?
Crawl. Yeah, he had that spinning star thing that was kind of curved as a weapon, threw it back and forth. Yeah, very campy, very exciting, fun movie, fun watch. Crawl.
Hmm. I don't feel like I'm having nightmares tonight. Okay. Anyway,
Yeah,
so
you might
huh?
only if you pull up and you find segments of Faces of Death.
Okay.
Faces of Death combined reenactments of horrific events with some actual footage of of accidents and autopsy videos and things like that. So they combined real death with fake death. So
Oh, that sounds creepy.
yeah. So you would see they would mix and match together some things to give you the sense that things were real. Like they would fake an alligator attack and then show you the autopsy of an alligator attack, where there were missing limbs and things like that. So it made it all seem way too real.
I didn't know you could you I didn't know you
Well, it was all direct to video, so there was no oversight.
okay. Yeah. Yeah, I guess if it's direct to video, but I don't know because I feel like I how like how do you get the rights to that? I guess like I'm thinking too. Like I don't know if you're like the family, can't you sue? Like
Um, I don't know if anybody sued, but I got two
Cat's
more and
Eyes and
then
Trilogy of Terror.
ooh, interesting. Cat's Eye, Steven Spielberg, not Steven Spielberg, Stephen King, and the Trilogy of Terror. That was Hammer Films production. So yeah, that would be a good one for Halloween, I think. In the Trilogy of Terror, you've got some short films like The Monkey's Paw, where you know about the idea of the monkey's paw, don't you?
Is that the one where it has like five wishes and then but each wish is like kind of like a cursed wish?
Yes. And then there's this voodoo doll story as well, and then this witch story where somebody's trying to bring somebody back to life. Oh no, that's in the monkey's paw.
Okay, so wait, that's a
Oh
movie.
yeah, yeah. The movie it's another anthology. The Zulu doll is what I was thinking of. Thank you. But that's in the Trilogy of Terror. There's three films in one because it's an anthology.
Hmm, all right, that sounds okay. So that sounds like a Halloweeny one that we could do. So
Yeah.
there we go.
Instead of Faces of Death. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I have space. I scratched off Faces of Death.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry to whoever suggested it, but I'm going with Rosales on it. So okay, I think we got some good movies that we can do definitely for the spooky season too.
Oh yeah, starting with They Live. That's almost a horror movie itself.
Well, it's almost Halloween, so that works out for this week or this month.
Well, there you go. It's the
Okay.
sci-fi transition into the horror. That's what it is.
So, no, I like that. So, and what are your plans for this week? Where are you going to be at? Where can tell the people where you're going to be at?
Well, I'm gonna be preparing for my show on Sunday. We talk about the week's events. I think this week we're going to be talking a little bit about how Disney has worked themselves into a corner. Recently, they announced that they are going to be spending $60 billion in renovations of the parks, and the investors and the people who own the stocks have so little confidence that they'll be spending that money correctly that the stock has dropped to a 9-year low. It's the first time it's dropped below $85. So they continue to make mistakes, and we'll go back onto that and continue to watch what Disney does. But that's just one of the topics we'll be talking about on Sunday. Hopefully, Miss 7076 will be there. We may have some other people showing up. You never know who's going to be on because you never know who's going to be busy. We may have Kitty back this coming week, you know, if weather permitting, and she's not feeling too poorly. So that'll be fun. Other than that, not much going on.
All right. Well, that sounds good, and I should be there. I don't think I have, and I think there may be a lady stream this week. We're actually working with getting, um, a really a special new edition, hopefully. But we're trying to work on the times right now. But we should be
Ooh,
hope.
yeah, I
Yeah.
can't be on that one.
You
Sorry.
don't want to put a wig on and come on?
No, no, not ready.
Fine. Darn.
Not ready to make that announcement yet. So,
But Saturday, guys, Saturdays will be the conspiracy stream. Believe I know that we've been out for a couple weeks. It's been a little crazy here. Uh, Jack has some crazy conspiracies that he will be bringing up. Jack Tarlad, so that'll be Saturday. I think I can do a something about gender reveals. That's going to be part of his conspiracy. And there was one other thing besides gender reveals. I don't know. It was something out there. I think he also wanted to go over the Russell brand, and yeah, he had a couple unique uh, theories. So yeah, come by that Saturday. That'll be, I believe, at 4 p.m. Pacific, and then Sunday, like I said, we're working on. Yes, Rosales. Did you want to say something? Did you have something?
well, I just find it curious that it's the BBC that is currently investigating Russell Brand and another company that is investigating Russell Brand. And the charges against him are really salacious and, vile. Um, criminal acts actually is what they are charging him with. However, he's being charged in the court of public opinion, and nobody from the authorities has done anything to implicate that there is an investigation going on with him. They haven't charged him with anything. They did invite the public to drop a line to the police if they have any information about anything that may have gone on. But other than that, they haven't said, "Yeah, we're looking into this" at all. So, as far as I can tell, uh, he says no. They say yes. YouTube has demonetized him for something that happened before YouTube existed. So, yeah, there's definitely reason for someone to be curious in the way of a conspiracy happening.
Yeah, you bring us some good points. You busy Saturday?
I don't know for sure if I'll be busy or not.
I'll
That
drop you the
depends
link.
on how much I get done for the show. Because
Uh, well, we'll drop you the link, and then if you can come, we'll appreciate it. But if you can't, then
yeah, yeah. Somebody said something interesting on a stream. Uh, one of the things that they were talking about was that he was doing something illegal, right? And he said that at the time it happened, it wasn't illegal. So that's interesting to me to think that, um, and of course the age at which they were talking about was 16. So according to this radio guy, having having knowledge of a 16-year-old in England was legal because he couldn't have been talking about the act of violently taking something from somebody without their permission. That's always been illegal. So that could be the only thing I could think of that they were talking about. Unless you're talking about drugs, which they weren't really suggesting that. So he also pointed out that the BBC was the one driving these young women to his radio station while he was doing his programming. So that would make them complicit in whatever illegal activity they're charging him with. So the whole thing is really interesting in the dynamic that in which it's come about. So again, he denies all wrongdoing and will eventually have his lawyers have something to say about that.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, I will save my comments for Saturday. Since yeah, I mean, that's interesting. I'll have to save mine for Saturday because I feel like then I'm sitting there going, well, I already said my comments, so you guys are screwed. So I guess we'll just like stare in awkward silence for an hour um, to see. That's some tap dance talking. Yeah, it is. It is based. I mean, that's what you have to do nowadays on social media, unfortunately. Um, But yeah. Oh, and also, so big announcement for those of you who don't know, the biotrans community has agreed to come on October 1st, and we will have Dr. S. Hart, for short, Dr. Shart. We will be having Dr. Shart on as a guest speaker. So everybody bring your stunning and braves and all that good stuff. They'll be really fun. Please give me your questions ahead of time because I do need to make sure that I give Doctor, I'm sorry. I do need to make sure that I give Dr. S. Hart um, the questions in advance, so that way they can review them and have plenty of time to prep for the show, since it's going to be a little bit more involved on this one. So again, you guys have any questions? And I talked to Dr. S. Hart, and basically they specializes in all things regarding gender, including all things regarding gender surgery, as well as gender theory and all fashion and the date tips as well. So yeah, so that will
So
be
it'll
a
be a
fun one.
silly show.
It'll be a stunning and brave show. So
Silly, 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 silly.
so again, that's October 1st, and MSK. I'm gonna do something to you that I can't say on YouTube right now. Okay, so anyway, so that is what we'll be doing on that one. So again, on this channel, you never know what you're gonna get. Sometimes you get a serious conspiracy thing. Sometimes you get a stunning and brave biotrans thing. Sometimes you get a lady stream where we talk about, like I said,
Speaking of trash, MSK, have you found dinner yet?
that's right. Oh yeah, that's right. Oh yeah. And MSK show is starting in a minute. I think it's starting at 8 p.m. So yeah, his show is starting soon, and I will probably be on there at some point tonight. Gender Olympics. Yes, Gender Olympics. Any questions you have about Gender Olympics, please come and ask them. I know someone asked. Actually, I can't fit the question here yet because I don't want to spoil any of the fun. So yes, so please come and watch that because it will be a fun show. Um, you get what you get and you don't get upset. Funny. So yes, and then again we will be doing some crazy, having some fun. So yeah, that's what's coming up on this channel. So thank you guys for being here. Hope you guys are subscribed. If you haven't yet, please hit the subscribe button. Again, we'll have a special Jack Power Lad Brit vs American stream, because remember, every time we hit a 76, we're going to do a Brit vs America, and remember, USA, USA, USA. I could not have done that any less enthusiastically. As I'm closing out, Rosales, any last words before I go ahead and hit the end button?
No.
Well, thank you for being on the show. Thank you for coming by. Thank you for being my awesome co-host on this one. I know that I fumble and stutter and trip over all my words, so I really appreciate having you to pull me through to that finish line. And really, we've hit to the hour and a half mark, so we did good.
Awesome.
All right, you guys have a good night. Thank you guys for making it a lively chat. Always appreciate having everybody in the live chat. Thank you, Base, Michael, WZ. I know I saw you too. I know Lefty Lucy.
I
Let's
want
see.
to see those thumbs up, guys.
Let's see if I'm forgetting. I hope I'm not forgetting anybody. MSK, even though you act like a little knucklehead. Thank you for stopping by. Cole as well. Thank you guys again, because without you guys watching, there would be no point in streaming this without you guys watching. So really, you guys mean a lot to me. I'm gonna get all mushy. Thank you guys for coming on and watching. I appreciate it. I really appreciate it. Take care. Have a good night, guys.